Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. This is our NFL Week 2 picks episode, Tyson. We're in the machine now. We are rolling. It's just one thing after another. We're going to try to make some cash roll here on the second week of the NFL slate.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, it was an okay start.
That was a good start. Tyson's being facetious here, folks, or he's being a little shy. I don't know which one we want to go with, but let's get into the recap screen because it was a great week for Tyson. And I'll throw it over to him, but I went 1-1, made some scratch because I got the play of the week home with the Cardinals -6.5. Missed on Bengals -5.5, which I probably went against my better judgment with. But, to get out of week 1 up 0.82 units, I will take that, Tyson.
And what an emotional roller coaster of a weekend for me. I go 0 for in the college football slate, and then I sweep the board in week 1 in the NFL. 4-0 plus 4.6 units. Play of the week, 49ers -2.5. Never even a doubt, dude. Just in control the whole time. No, I was freaking out on a couple of these. Buccaneers -1.5. That was up and down, to say the least. Raiders, Patriots, rocking chair on the under 43.5. And then Bengals, Browns under 48.5. Another rocking chair. So, like we told you to take unders, and then we didn't take enough of them.
I know. God, I wish I would have followed your advice there, but that's all right. Great start here on the NFL side of things for us as we are up as a show 5.42 units. Tyson's up 4.6 as you see, and I'm up 0.82. So without further ado, let's start looking ahead. Let's give out some picks for week 2.
It's money making time.
And Tyson has just been kicking my ass this year. He's on the T-box on the college side of things and this side. So why don't you lead us off with your play of the week?
It's because we don't live where each other lives, so I can't get him on the golf course and keep it from him there. But I'm going with my play of the week. I think the Baltimore Ravens are bouncing back on offense. They don't need to bounce back on offense. Maybe that was the wrong choice of words. But they're going to score 1 billion points. Like we got Grant Delpit out here saying tackling Derrick Henry is not hard, and then the clip that goes viral is Delpit's the third guy there, cleaning up the play. It's like that's awesome. But Derrick Henry's going to go for 225. Lamar Jackson's going to go nuts. And this Ravens team just seems to score 50 every time they play in the early time slot, Brad.
And I will be on something with Tyson there on that game, but I will give out my play of the week first, and that's going to be Texans -2.5, -105 here on DraftKings. I mean, a lot of people are down on the Texans comparatively to what we saw, but the Rams defense I think is really good. And the power rating I look at, it has it right on this number at 2.6. And yes, the Bucs offense, it can get hot, but they got to go on the road. The Texans are much better at home. Bucs have struggled a little bit on the road comparatively. And I think in the dome, C.J. Stroud's going to perform much better. This defense is better than what the Bucs faced last week against the Falcons. And so I think the Texans get right here. They win, and I'm going to cover this number.
We have Patriots Dolphins next for me. Is that the next one up, or am I going from the bottom?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm going Patriots money line +102. I think that we're going to look back at like week 6, 7, 8. At this Dolphins team as the team that we see every year where we don't quite realize how bad they are. Like when New Orleans scored 50 on that Dallas defense and then somebody else scored 40, it was like, okay, this is concerning. And then it just turned out they stunk. Or the Panthers defense a year ago. And I think we're going to do that with the Miami Dolphins team this year. I think the Patriots bounce back here a little bit in Brad's prediction of Mr. McDaniels getting fired by week, was it 4 or 5 you said?
Yep.
I think we speed up the timeline.
I saw somebody in the comments on that video said if they lose this week and then next week to the Bills, he's going to be fired. I don't think that's too far off, especially if they get embarrassed. I think losing at home against a Patriots team who's going to rebuild, that's going to heat that seat up. That is for sure. Tyson, I'm going to jump back in on here in the Ravens game. I actually have 2 plays. The first one, I'm doubling down on another 2 units. So our play of the weeks are 2 units. I'm going back to another 2-unit play. So I'm loading up on first half, Ravens -6.5. That's -120 on FanDuel. So I think they're going to start off hot here. They're going to bounce back. This is a team that destroyed Jim Schwartz's defense last year. They went 35-10 in the last time they played. Now Schwartz has had the Ravens number a little bit. They're 2-2 since he's taken over as the DC, but that's with a better team around what they had to operate. And this Ravens team, Tyson, everybody's talking about when they're blowing out the Bills, easily the best roster, easily the best team. And now we're going against a Browns team whose offense is anemic. They can't run the football. Yes, the defense is still solid, but I think with what the Ravens are going to be able to do them on the ground and even through the air, this should be a spot where they get off to a fast start and avenge what happened the week prior.
My next one here, I'm going with the under 43.5 in the Broncos-Colts game, or 42.5, minus 102 here on DraftKings. This, to me, is a spot where the Broncos defense gets to play Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones isn't going to look like he looked in week one, combined with the fact that Broncos offense looked horrible. It just wasn't off to the start that we expected. I don't expect, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢𝐛𝐞 and this Colts defense that looked better than advertised. Now, how much of that, again, is going to be us looking back and going, dang, Miami sucks. But I think that they're able to keep this game somewhat competitive. I do think the Broncos are going to win, but I think we're under 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, this is interesting to me because I'm with you on the front. I think Daniel Jones isn't going to look like he did last week. My only question is if you're going to throw some pick sixes. Like that's true. That's what would scare me in this one. But yeah,
as long as Alex Singleton, I'm cool with it.
I'm going to go back to this Ravens game, and I'm taking the full game, minus 11.5, minus 108 on FanDuel. Power ratings have this a point difference. I think the Ravens are going to destroy them. This is not a good Browns team. Ravens can pound them down. So why am I not going heavier on the two answer? It's because freaking Harbaugh and Lamar blow leads. So I want them to get out to a fast start where they look dominant. And then, yes, if they're going to cruise at the end, they give up a backdoor. I don't want that to be my heavier player, but I do think they comfortably win this one.
I'm going with a heat check here to end my week. I'm going with the Falcons to cover plus 3.5. I understand they're going at Minnesota as Monday night. Is it week 2? First of all, as we discussed, the Minnesota Vikings find themselves in prime time of week 2 every year, and I'm not quite sure why, but it was fun to watch them a week ago in prime time, and I think it's going to be fun this time too. But I think Michael Penix is going to play pretty well against this blitz, man. That's where I'm at, and I know Drake London's hurt, and look, it doesn't set up well for me. But if DeAndre Swift was a weapon out of the backfield on those scripted plays, as far as just catching passes at the line of scrimmage and then making something happen, I think Bijan Robinson keeps this thing close enough. I just have a feeling I think the Falcons cover.
Well, Tyson, I'm right there with you. I'm taking them 3.5 too, and it's mainly just because of the hook. The Falcons defense, not necessarily great. They should have made some plays against Baker Mayfield, would have completely changed the game. I don't necessarily want to predict that they're going to do this here, but again, it's against a rookie quarterback. Yes, he looked great in the fourth quarter. How much of that was the Bears falling apart? People always talk about in the analytical nerds, momentum's not a real thing. Then you actually ask the people who are on the field, they're like, oh yeah, momentum's a real thing. Like we got the jive going. We got to feel it. And yeah, so things completely changed. And it snowballed on the Bears, worked in the direction positively for the Vikings. I love Kevin O'Connell. I think he's an elite offensive mind, but the Falcons, Tyson, getting the hook here, I'm going to take him, and I think Penix is going to show well against the blitz. And with Drake London playing, that gives me more confidence in this offense. But Bijan Robinson's got to be special, and I think Kyle Pitts could have a sighting here too.
I mean, we didn't put him on the player prop parlay, Brad.
I know. We couldn't jinx our guy. Last one for me here. You got a heat check on the Falcons, which I'm riding you with. Ride with you on. I'm going to go a little heat check here in the opposite way, Tyson. I think the Jags Bengals are going to go over 48.5, minus 115 on DraftKings. Why do I think that? Both defenses looked actually pretty solid last week. Are we buying into it? I'll pay to find out. I'm going to use that verbiage. I'm going to use that mindset because I don't think this Jaguars defense is all of a sudden figured things out with this young of a staff, with the same players that we saw last year look soft, uninterested, and not good. Meanwhile, the Bengals offense, I don't expect them to be that bad. With the Browns just have their number on defense. That's just what it is. Like, we just know Jim Schwartz is going to dial something up, but Jamar Chase isn't going to be that quiet. T. Higgins is not going to be that quiet. Joe Burrow's not going to look that flustered. So the Bengals are going to put up a ton of points. On the flip side, with Liam Cohen, with Mr. Duval himself, maybe we can see a little pain point on this Bengals defense, see how good they really are. And I know Flacco had moved the ball and he had those 2 picks. We're not the biggest Trevor Lawrence guys, but maybe they get some points on the board. Brian Thomas could have a good game as well.
I mean, yeah, one of those 2 guys getting in the end zone for sure.
All right. That's it. Week 2, we're going to try to keep the momentum rolling. But Tyson, we add some more stuff this year as we keep trying to just do some fun things. And we're being pretty aggressive on this front because the boosts are coming from DraftKings on this one as we get into our player prop parlay from last week that we just missed out. I actually thought we were pretty close on this one.
But yeah, I mean, we were pretty close, except for like Nico Collins didn't get the ball, and then Braylon Allen looked slow. So like, sure, we were close maybe at the end of the day, but when I was watching that, I was like, we got cooked, dude.
Laporta got over there comfortably over the 40 and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nico Collins just wasn't a factor.
Bro, it took Ted McMillan needed 15 targets in 7 hours of a game, basically after the delay to get to 5 catches. I was not feeling like we were that close.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. But maybe we can change the tide this week because we got 5 plays on the prop side of things with the boost on DraftKings. Get us up to 27-36. Trey McBride over 62.5 receiving yards. Devontae Adams over 59.5 receiving yards. A.J. Brown plus 70 plus receiving yards, I should say. Jamar Chase over 86.5 receiving yards, and Nico Collins 6+ receptions. Tyson, why don't you give a synopsis for why we're playing these?
Trey McBride is simple. Kyler Murray will not be, pooping and puking his brains out. And he had 6 for 61 a week ago. I think that's kind of closer to the floor here for Trey McBride. Devontae Adams, I think Puka Nacua is going to draw Snead, and Devontae dropped one, or else he would have been right around this number a week ago. I think he finished with 51. A.J. Brown, we talked about that on a different podcast that we do here, Filthy, and we just think it's an A.J. week. Dude, diamond slants all day, and I think he's cooking over the middle of the field. Jamar Chase is Brad's riding Jamar Chase this week, folks.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. Over 86.5 receiving yards. You can take the catches if you want. The thought process is he might only need 3 to get to 90, whereas if he gets 7, he's getting 90 anyways. And then Nico Collins is just going to be the guy that screws us over and over again.
I'm full transparency. I put the Nico Collins thing in here. I think he's going to have a big week. We'll see. Maybe he does screw us. We'll see. But that's, again, plus 27-36 on DraftKings with a 25% boost that they're offering on 5-leg parlays. And so let's keep it rolling. We did a TD parlay as well. Again, went 2 for 4, so that was frustrating.
This one pisses me off because, we lost. Drake London didn't get in the end zone. Trey McBride didn't get in the end zone. Drake London got 2 passes or 3 passes on the goal line there, ends up like spraining his AC joint on one of them. That was an unfortunate way to lose. And then Trey McBride on the James Conner touchdown. Yeah, it's awesome. James Conner got in the end zone. He's wide open. I get It's not the play, but just dump it to our guy, man. This one hurt after the Genty touchdown, and how just like ridiculously he powered through that. It was like, we're smoking this week, and Chuba cashes when it doesn't matter on a crazy touchdown. This was tough to swallow.
It was, and that's just how it happens with TD stuff. That's why it's tough to predict. But we're going to try to do it here with our 4 legs on this one. Tyson, take us through it.
Ramondre Stevenson, I think he's going to get in the end zone this week. I think the Patriots are going to win the game. I think he's going to get the ball on the goal line. I think he's going to punch it in. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't think this Lions offense is going to look as bad as it did a week ago, Brad. I think it might be a concerted effort, which is a theme of all of our plays this week, to just get your best players the ball. And Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, all those guys kind of fall into that. And then I'll let you talk about Jamar and Brees.
Well, Jamar Chase, I think he's just going to eat. Like, he didn't score last week. This is a defense that I don't believe in on the Jaguars side of things. And Jamar Chase is going to be targeted. He's going to be involved. And he's a threat to catch the ball and go to the house at any point.
Hit a clip on Travis Hunter?
Ooh, I think he's going to try. He's going to try to do something. So there we go. A little extra motivation for Jamar Chase. And then Breece Hall. That Bills defense looked leaky against the run, as we saw Derrick Henry just eviscerate him. Now, Breece Hall is not Derrick Henry because almost nobody in the history of football is. But I do think he can gash him. Like, he was opening things up against the Steelers, who is historically a pretty stout run defense. So if they're going to get those lanes, and if he's going to get those lanes against the Bills, I think he's going to be able to go and score a touchdown. What scares me is with Justin Fields is the dual threat ability. He can pull and he can go to the house. But I think with Justin Fields scoring twice on the ground last week, Breece Hall not getting in, I think he does find the end zone this week. And again, these 4 legs are plus 20-22 on DraftKings.
Plus 20-22, which was the last time Aaron Rodgers really looked like a preseason MVP candidate. And boy, did he throw for 4 touchdowns, dude. I'm just saying.
Wow, Tyson's in this numerology all of a sudden. Maybe this will help us out. All right, so that's it for us, folks. We got our normal plays, and we're going to sprinkle some of these TD parlays each and every week. Again, half unit on the player prop, half unit on the TD prop. It's just some fun stuff. We're going to throw stuff around. Hopefully we hit it. In the meantime, Tyson, like you said off the top, injury news, things like that happens. Sometimes it forces our hand with live plays or pregame stuff. Where can they find anything else we're playing?
It'd be in the Discord app group name, as I said what I said. And yeah, man, like this, we record these on Thursdays and then we make all these plays. And then Friday comes around and then two of the guys from the touchdown prop get dropped off. They get chopped and we're left scrambling. Those plays are in the Discord. Whatever you're thinking, we want to hear it.
And in the meantime, folks, like, subscribe, and share the show. If you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button on the way out. If you're listening to podcast form, 5 stars if you haven't already. That really does help us out. So we're appreciative of those who have already done that. And smash the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing we do. We got you covered in football season all year long. If you're interested in playing some college stuff before you see this, we got that covered. And then next week, as we break everything down, following a tremendous weekend of football, we will react to everything that happened in the college and the NFL gridiron. Share it with a friend. Share it with a coworker, your coworker's sister, your coworker's mom. I don't know how you guys are doing it. Your dad, your brother, I don't know. But help us grow this thing. We do appreciate it. Again, like I said, we're locked and loaded for the football season, and we'll talk to you guys after the weekend. Till then, peace.